for me? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast on Song Magazine describes as the one that initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists. All fans could discover the creative workflow of musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. It's still a tongue twister at times. We are all sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. Get $100 off your entire building code CPPod at darkfusionsystems.com. Links in the description of the podcast below. Go to millionpodcast.com. They rank the top 100 podcasts in many categories. Metal music, we are number 14 in the world. So we got 13 spots to climb to get to number 1 for the best metal music podcast ever. So let's make that happen. We're going to do it by going to our feature presentation. We have Chris from the post-hardcore metalcore band from Germany, Annisokay, on the podcast. Their album, The Abyss, the final chapter, comes out on November 21st, taking Abyss Part 1 EP from 2023, Abyss Part 2 EP from 2025, combined together and bringing you new songs in there as well. We talk about why they constructed this album this way. We talk about the brand new songs that they added onto this, and we also dive a little bit deeper into just the overall reason of why Annisokay does what they do. And it's fantastic. You're going to have a fun time for about 40 minutes. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chrod Progression Podcast. This band's name has been one that I've known for quite some time, pretty much ever since starting the podcast close to 7 years ago. And I've always wanted to bring them onto the podcast at some point in time. It seemed like it never really worked out a couple of times, especially when they released 2 fantastic EPs called Abyss Part 1 in 2023 and Abyss Part 2 earlier this year. But now with a full compilation of Abyss, the final chapter, the full album coming out on November 21st, we finally get to make it happen. I'm excited for this one. I've gone through the entirety of this, and this is definitely an experience of an album you're going to want to enjoy, especially to close out 2025. So please welcome Chris from the band Annisokay to the podcast. So Chris, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. It's pretty cool.
Hey, I'm happy to have you here, man. I'm happy you're enjoying being here right now. But first question I got to ask is, we are right up to the release of the full Abyss, the final chapter in its entirety. We're really close to it. How are you guys feeling right now going into this?
Yeah, it's been a long ride, like you told everyone already. We released part 1 in 2023, and the initial idea was to actually release an album back then already. But it was a crazy time. It was like still feeling the COVID times back then, and we had some motivation troubles, and like some songs just didn't feel right yet, and we felt like the album just isn't finished yet. And then we thought, okay, but we want to release something because it's been a while, and we thought, okay, let's do an EP, and then we bring the other songs or some other songs on the second EP. And yeah, and then we decided, actually we already had this artwork ready, this half split woman thing, and we thought, yeah, maybe let's put one half of the face on the first EP and the second half on the second EP. So yeah, this is where it all started, and now, I mean, we had the idea of releasing an album or turning it into an album since a long time, but we always thought, yeah, just putting the 2 EPs together and call it an album would be a bit boring. So we thought maybe adding 3 more songs to it. That's a good idea. Let's do it, and then it's something more special, like having a final chapter of 3 songs. And yeah, I'm going into detail already, but that's the thing. It's been such a long time, and this is such a long journey, and the band evolved. The band got bigger within this time frame, and it's all pretty crazy. So having this final chapter coming out now in I think 3 weeks or something is pretty crazy. It feels like the end of a really long journey, but a nice journey.
I was going to say, you definitely got into a lot more of the reasons why this is, was split into 2 EPs, and then now the final chapter having 3 songs added to it. I was actually going to ask that question myself. You just already had it in your mind and beat me to it.
Yeah. Sorry if I took anything ahead, but yeah, it's just this whole story. Like when you ask me how I think about it, that's what I think. I mean, like I said, it's been a long time, and now the 3 songs we just released two of them, and there's a third one coming with the release of the album. They feel really fresh because they're actually really new songs, and some songs on the EP are, or in the EPs are 4 years old or something. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot happens in this time with the band and with your musical mind and everything. And so I'm excited on these three songs as well. Two of them are already out, and yeah, people like it. It seems like.
I'm not surprised that people like it, to be honest with you. Just based on not only I can go to the new songs in a little bit, but the thing that I really want to focus in on is when we think about music releases, especially in today's day and age, everyone's so focused in on releasing singles because of the way the Spotify and the streaming algorithms all work. In order to make sure that you stay in the zeitgeist, make sure that you stay in the know with everything, you have to keep releasing. So when you guys release Abyss Part 1, it's okay, we get 6 songs. That is an amalgamation of something that is still a full piece of work that is not yet completed, because you guys didn't feel like the rest of the songs maybe held up, but you thought that these first 6, okay, this works. We like these. This can fit as an EP, as one whole part of this Abyss journey and story. So let's put those out there. Then as time goes on, it's all right. Now we've got the second half of this, songs 10 through 15. These are all set and ready to go. Let's release this as part 2. But if you combine those 2 EPs and just say this is Abyss the album, you're going to have definitely rock and metal fans that are like, well, you're calling this an album, but you already released all these songs. It's just repackaging them. There's nothing new to really experience. But the thing that stood out to me was by adding those 3 songs, when you go through the first part, that first EP, then the second part, that second EP, they sound like they could be connected, but they also sound like it's an experience they could stand on their own. When you add Silent Anchor Splinters and My Effigy into the mix, it connects those 2 EPs together. So when you go through songs 1 through 15, now it's a full experience. It's not a repackaged group of songs. It's a whole new thing at this point.
Yeah, you're totally explaining what we thought. Like, you're getting the point. Yeah, and also, like you said, we didn't want these 3 songs to feel like a deluxe edition or bonus tracks or something, because most of the time bonus tracks are a bit half-assed, like really quickly done stuff. They are really like, we put everything in these songs we could, and that's why we put them in the middle, between the 2 EPs. Like in the track list, you have EP1, then you have the 3 new songs, and then you have EP2. And another reason for this is that the first song on EP1, Into the Abyss, and the last song on EP2, Inner Sanctum, are connected lyrically and melodically. So they build like a circle, and we didn't want to like destroy this whole circle feeling and when you listen to the songs. So yeah, it made more sense to put them in the middle and have this then be the final chapter and the final EP. Yeah. So yeah, you pretty much nailed it there.
Oh, I'm with you on what you said too about how Into the Abyss is a song and then Inner Sanctum kind of bring the entire thing full circle once again. Especially when you start out and you listen to Into the Abyss, because it has definitely more of that intro feel. Like this is an intro song into something, but to fully experience what you guys were going for on Abyss as a collective, it's something that you really need, because it creates this feel of, is with the way the programming is, with the way the instrumentation also interplays in it, and the way the vocals also kind of play a little bit more of a role in the background, it creates this feel. I got to take a look at this, that you're going into something unknown, but also something grand at the same time. The use of the bass electronics and piano to crescendo into that grander second half almost sounds like it was inspired by a band like Muse to keep this thing going forward. And I thought it was a great move. But once you get to the end of it, and I'm talking about Inner Sanctum, I'm talking about the whole experience, I mean, it does have, in my opinion, a little more of a progressive build, which works out because it kind of can bring you back to that mindset from the beginning. But it is the breakdown that gives that sense of finality to the entirety of this. You're thinking you're going right back to the beginning, but no, that breakdown gives you that sense of finality in what turns out to be a fantastic 15-song project from beginning to end. There is not really a song here where I was like, this is not that great. It's if there were songs I'm like, I'm just not feeling this one as much. It's because the others were standing out so much more. It was like I'm comparing good to great, not good to bad. I was comparing good songs to great songs. This was truly an experience to go on.
Nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, one reason that there are like 15 full songs on this is, of course, that we took a lot of, or we had a lot of time doing them, because it's basically been 4 years or
Mhm.
something, or I don't even remember. Uh, yeah, but we as we were releasing these EPs, there was no space for having filler songs or interludes or something. That's the stuff you do when you do an album to just make it 12 tracks or something to be able to call it
Mhm.
an album, but you maybe have 9 good songs. So that's one reason why there's like 15 full songs. I mean, Into the Abyss is kind of like you said, an intro thing. So you can maybe call that an intro and not a full song. But besides that, it's all like this all could be singles,
Mhm.
like. And that's also what you said earlier. One way how we adapt to the new, I mean, it's not even that new anymore. It's been like that for many years. But like the fact that you have to release singles like in a in a pattern of a few weeks or month to stay in the playlist, to stay like active, and people don't forget about you, and basically Spotify and all the streaming platforms don't forget about you. So that was, of course, also a reason why we had this idea to do the whole thing like on this wide spread of time. Yeah.
But again, it might be better that you did it in that wide spread of time. Like you said, there are plenty of bands and artists that we've had out there that we listen to albums and you can tell there are some great songs in there, but then there are some songs that just feel like filler. And it might be just to get that album out as a completion piece as a whole. It might be to meet a specific deadline that you're beholden to by your record label. There's plenty of other factors that us as fans don't fully understand. But at the same time, if you're able to do something like what you did on Abyss, where yes, you had an idea for an album and you had 6 great songs to start and the rest weren't necessarily as strong. Okay, let's release the first 6, put this together, and then keep working on this so that when it comes through as a final project, not only can those EPs stand out on their own, but the final project stands out in its own in another way, along with new songs added in there to connect part 1 and part 2 together. That's the tough part, is being able to keep that consistent mindset for that high quality of music throughout that many years on the same, I'm not going to say the same project, but the same idea of a collection of songs. That's not easy to do, but you pulled it off. You and the band pulled it off.
Yeah, if you say so, that's great. I mean, releasing songs in a high level of quality is basically what we're trying to do since we started the band. So it's nothing, it's not that hard that, or like we didn't think about, oh, that's so hard that we have to keep the level of
Mm-hmm.
Abyss Part 1 now on these other songs. It's more like you listen to the old songs on EP 1 and you're like, the new stuff is a little better. But that's how it goes with every artist, because after a few years you evolved, you're like, you learn new stuff, you listen to a bit new stuff, and then the old stuff just doesn't feel that fresh anymore. It's not that it's not good, it's just you're not that excited anymore about these songs. So it's great that we can still, or we could still work on this album like until the very end. And one fun fact is also that there are some, like, not every song that's on EP 2 is has been written after EP 1. So there has been some songs already finished when we released EP 1, but we wanted to have a like a nice how can I say it? Like the variation of songs and how the energy
Mm-hmm.
is like how do you call it in English? Like you don't want to have too many soft songs on one EP and too many hard songs on the
Mm-hmm.
other, if you know what I mean. I don't really know how to explain it in English, but we felt like we have to keep some songs from releasing on the first EP and put it on the second one, and do some that we thought maybe they're not finished, or they maybe they could be better on the second one. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
some songs on the second EP are pretty old as well. So that's a little fun fact.
So that makes
Yeah,
sense. It's just you didn't want one part like EP part 1 and EP part 2 to sound so vastly different, so that when you put the two together, it was like, okay, they're only connected by name of the
yeah,
EP. Where if you put, all the heavier, faster songs, maybe some more of the aggressive ones on EP part 1 and then the softer ones on EP part 2, as we're going through the album in full, yeah, part one's gonna make us feel one way. Then we're gonna have the transition to the new songs you put in there, and then everything soft on the back end.
mm,
It's gonna create a completely different experience for the overall listener, for you guys, and what you want to put out there. It might be way, way, way too much for one person to handle in terms of, I like EP1, but I don't like what they did on EP2. Where if you mix those songs together, it's, I could like so many more of those songs just due to the fact that the overall energy flow from one song to the next could make so much more sense based on track listing.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, because that's what keeps it exciting.
Mhm.
If you have too many similar songs in a row, people get a bit more bored usually. It's like watching a movie, you know, like if you have the all the action scenes in the beginning and then all the drama in the end, or all
Mhm.
the, I'd say, like emotional
Yep.
scenes, then it gets boring. And that's what we try to like not get here.
Understandable. You kept with the saying that my dad once told my cousin when he came to talking about women. He said, "Ben, variety is the spice of life." And as you did with the music here, it's, you didn't keep it so, segmented to one spot. It's, we're putting songs in here that just work together and make sense as you flow from one to the next. It's not going to be all heavy. It's not going to be all light, because if you're, like you said, you're focusing on like a movie. If all the action's right up front and then it's all the emotional drama at the back end, for me, I'm like, hey, that first half was a lot of fun, but I wanted to stop watching after that first half.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the way it works. But of course, you've got 3 new songs that are coming out with the release of Abyss, the final chapter, Silent Acre, Splinters, and My Effigy. And if I'm correct, Splinters and My Effigy have already been out. I think I had to look that up. And with those two already being out, what has been the overall response from not only longtime fans of the band, but brand new people that are just finding about Annisokay, which they should have found out about you guys a long time ago? But what has been that overall reaction so far from the 2 songs that have been released for this final project?
Um, yeah, we released the first song of these three, My Effigy, um, in late summer, and we were playing it live before we released it. This was something we've never done before, and we were playing Wacken Festival, which is like the biggest metal festival in Germany, and or even not in Europe, but it's pretty huge in
Mm-hmm.
Germany. Like people are all over Wacken, and we played there for the first time, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to do a premiere of My Effigy for the people. And we even thought it would be a cool idea to shoot the music video there as well. And so we had one guy with a gimbal camera set up, and yeah, let's do a one shot. Like just keep rolling, keep behind. We do one video, no cut, and we'll see how it goes. So, and then we played the song, and people, we told them before we played it, we said, yeah, okay, guys, this is going to be a new song, and we want to see you go crazy because we want to shoot a music video right now as well. And people were like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then they went totally nuts. We had a really big circle pit, and like people went crazy, and it was a lot of fun. And the response, the live response was so great that we thought, oh, okay, the song is really, people like it. So we did the same thing on another festival in Germany, another big one, Summer Breeze, and it was the same reaction. And then we had two of these videos, and we were like, okay, we can't decide. Both of them are so great. And then we just thought, okay, let's just put them both on top of each other and have one video with two like one shots going on in the same time, split screen. And yeah, this is where how the video came together. But also like the response was really cool. Like people loved the song from the beginning because it's a bit more energetic than the songs we released before that. And we always try to have like waves
Mm-hmm.
of energy flowing with our releases. Like on the album, we do it with singles as well. Because Splinters is basically the total opposite of it. It's mostly clean singing. There's like one screamed line, and the other, like the whole song is like a drum and bass kind
Mm-hmm.
of metal mix, and really emotional. And it's like total opposite energy wise. And I can spoil you already that the last song, like people haven't heard it yet, but the last song, Silent Anchor, is to me or to all of us, the whole band, like the perfect mix of heaviness and emotionness and like everything that makes Annisokay makes them who we are and what like what's our sound is about. Then it's combined in the song. So I'm really excited about this one as well coming out.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, especially when you're talking about the releases that you've done so far, and not only how you release them as a band, where it's you're releasing even the singles with that mindset of we're going to try and create an experience from one single to the next, so your energy is going to flow from one spot to the next. And by adding them, not only these three new ones in the middle, the way you've added them and then released them in, I would say, in reverse order with My Effigy coming first. Yeah, that one definitely has more of that upbeat, energetic style tempo that really gets you driving forward and really makes you want to move like crazy. I
Mhm.
absolutely enjoyed it. I mean, it kind of reminded me, especially as you get into the second EP with Never Enough, just how that drive keeps you going, keeps you moving. The energy is completely there. Splinters, on the other hand, you're right. It definitely is a completely different overall emotion, but it's a song that I've said it kind of is a song that builds your confidence throughout it for 201 seconds. But it's the clean singing. It's not necessarily that like energetic, let's go do this, but it's like that feeling of, you're trying to hype yourself up, feeling like you got this. And as the song goes on, that feeling continues to grow more and more. On Splinters, it sounds like, especially as I put in the verses, the way it builds, it sounds like an epic Van Halen song and inspiration, but Van Halen from the time when Sammy Hagar was in the band, which that's when that's actually my first song of memory ever, is a Van Halen song from the Sammy Van Hagar era. So I was kind of blowing my mind a little bit there. But when you got to Silent Anchor, which of course will be out on release day, but when people hear that, that one has a different feel to it overall. And that's going to be the last one that, if, longtime fans of the band are going to be able to hear for the first time. If you haven't heard any of Annisokay with Abyss Part 1, Part 2, and then what the final chapter is going to be, go through from start to finish. It's going to be a completely great experience. That's how I did it. And yeah, I loved it. But when I look at Silent Anchor overall, I wrote down for my thoughts, because I always write down what I think about songs. Overall, the song really does a fantastic job to show off that emotion with more of a connective build with how that emotional programming goes, diving into our emotions, and the vocals connecting to just this feeling of yearning to be free from what burdens us. The breakdown at the start to kind of force that feeling of like taking action of what you want to take action for. It starts out what I thought, I'm like, this sounds like it might be a little lacking a little spice. The second half hits with some of those bursts and the flashy feels on the instrumentation to show this change actually taking effect. And I'm like, okay, that did it. That was it. That's what I was looking for. Woo! We're good. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically about. I can't tell you exactly what it's about, the song, because it's a little secret, but it's basically about a relationship where you have one side um, just putting no energy in the relationship, and but you want to keep it going. You want to you you're into this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and but the other side just doesn't want to do anything, and they it just kills you by doing nothing,
Mm-hmm.
like you're starring on this uh on this thing, and drowning. You're basically drowning inside of the other side, and they're just like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. So it's a bit it's a bit hard for me to not tell exactly what it's about, but that's basically the idea, and yeah,
You,
I'm excited about this one coming
I'll
out.
say you don't have to go into like the specific absolute details, but I mean, you just gave us a great idea of what the song really is about from a thematic standpoint. And from that aspect, we've all probably been in some sort of friendship relationship where it was much more one-sided than the other at some point in time. Now, if you're still connected with that person, like if you had a one-sided relationship with someone in your family, you might still be connected to that person. You might be doing better with them, or you might be with a significant other who at one point in time it was a one-sided relationship, and you may still be with that person. It's much better off because you're able to work through that, and now both of you are equally invested in that relationship. So you can think about the song and remember those periods of times and just see where you've gotten now. But if you have had one of those relationships and it never went further than that because it was all one-sided, you can reflect on that and see what happened, how it made you feel, kind of reignite that feeling of, I don't want to necessarily go through that, and because you feel what your worth is and be able to find what that is overall when you're going out connecting with other people, then not make sure that happens again. We don't need that happening again.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just better to say, like, I'm out. To put it really easy. I mean, I'm a person that's really that doesn't like to say goodbye or something, or end relationships in any kind of uh like, it's not about just emotional, it's also business, whatever. And yeah, but I learned so often in the past that when I get it sounds bad, like when I get rid of these relationships that pull me down, that I'm so feeling so much better afterwards. And I can just like suggest to everyone who is feeling the same way, like, think about it and take it into consideration that maybe quitting is the best option. Yeah.
That might
Yeah,
be a
but
great.
it's a really general thing I want to say now. Like, it always depends on many factors, but yeah.
Oh, it always depends on many factors. But again, what you're giving us is, especially from the meaning standpoint, even with any song, you could give us that, but we also can pick up on ourselves. We can pick up on a specific meaning, but how we take that meaning and the way that you have it metaphorically done, how we're taking it, we're going to put it into our own lives and our brains, and we're going to connect with it that way. So while you had more of specific, instance or point of time in life that you're writing about, we're not going to be able to pick up on exactly what you wrote about, but we're going to pick up on the emotional themes that it is, the emotional journey that it is, insert our own selves into that emotional journey, and then follow suit. And that's how we connect with some of these songs. That's how the songs that you love when you were growing up, the songs that still, when, not even from Annisokay, but that still hit you hard when you listen to them.
Yeah.
There's that reason for that. The songs that I listen to, I can still name somewhere. It's like I still remember the first time I heard them and the first time it actually absolutely hit me. And now I listen through those songs and the same thing continues. Like I still feel like those emotions and be able to pick up on those things because those songs are like so closely to that emotional moment in our lives.
Yeah, that's true. I still have some songs in mind, like from the old days when I started listening to heavy music as a teenager. Uh, that that just fit so much into my thinking back then, and I still can relate to that when I listen to these songs. And like you said, yeah, everyone makes his own story out of these lyrics and has his own imagination and own emotions, and that's what makes music so special, and that's what makes it so curing as well. And yeah, you know how it goes. You pretty much said it already.
Yeah. It's what makes music goes, it's what makes life goes, and it just what makes life more beautiful when you can even, some of the darker things in life. It makes music helps make you understand what those are. It helps make you understand the explanation behind it, how to describe it to some other person, and
Yeah,
to actually inspire that change for better in your own
and
self.
also that the feeling of not being alone with this,
Mm-hmm.
like you're not the only person who is experiencing this shit moment or whatever, and this bad emotion. Like, there are other people who go through the same things, and and this feeling alone, this, like, being understood by the music, which, or by the artist, or the, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
This alone is what makes it so special. I think, especially in this kind of genre, like with having darker themes and darker lyrics. Besides, like, maybe some pop artists that are
Mm-hmm.
singing about being happy and everything is nice. So I don't know. just some thoughts.
Just some thoughts, but also when it comes to Abyss coming out November 21st, you guys are also spending the rest of the year touring Europe for the record release with bands like The Narrator and Our Promise, and then touring the UK to start out 2026 with Heart of a Coward and The Narrator as well. So you guys are going to be taking this out on the road, of course, throughout Europe, but that covers the rest of 2025 and just the start of 2026. What
Yeah.
else do you guys have planned going into 2026 that you can share? I'm not trying to get you in trouble or anything, but if there's little teasers you can drop our way, I'm excited.
I mean, we're still like pre-release right now. So the thing is also with the tour, I mean, we're basically on tour right now. We have a little break now. We've been on tour for 3 weeks already, going from Finland to Portugal. So that's was a pretty wild ride already, going like across Europe, the whole thing. and and we have another 3 week tour coming up, which is focused more on our home country, Germany. We're playing the biggest shows here that we ever played, and gonna be some really crazy ones. And then, like you said, we have 2026 starting with this UK leg, and then like on this last show of this UK tour, don't know which city it is honestly, but uh, this whole abyss like journey is going to be over for us at least. I mean, people who get to know us then and get the album for the first time, they can experience
Mm-hmm.
it for the first time, whatever, like for many years. And but for us as a band, this has been a long travel then, and uh, we're gonna start something new. But honestly, like if I'm completely honest, we don't know yet what's coming after because we're still so into this thing now. We're gonna release another music video, hopefully, if everything works out. And we have this, like I just said, these big shows coming out, this long tour, and we can't think ahead of this, like after this last
Mm-hmm.
show because it's so much to do still. And then we're gonna sit down and we're gonna think, okay, what next?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm really looking forward to this, honestly, because it gives you a really fresh mind, and you have all the opportunities in the world, and you can like do whatever you want. And it's gonna be cool, I guess, but I
It's
don't know what.
it's going to be cool because especially when it comes to Abyss with that last show in the UK that you're gonna be playing in January, you and the band are able to put the finale, like the bow on top of this whole entire experience that was Abyss. And while for us as fans, it's like, oh, I wish they'd be touring more so we could go see them play more throughout 2026. The fact of the matter is you're going to be doing something that you guys don't know what it is going to be yet. You haven't come up with fully what that experience is going to be going forward throughout 2026. What the next, I'm not going to say what the next chapter is because we call Abyss the final chapter. It's like right another chapter on it. What this next overall experience is going to be that Annisokay is going to put together. What you guys are going to create, what we're going to get to experience as fans. All we know is that something new is going to be on the horizon. We just have no idea what that is or when that's going to be. But all we know is it's going to happen.
Yeah, the thing is, what I was talking about is just the creative side. We're not gonna stop playing shows or something, take a break or something like that. I mean, we don't have any tours announced yet, but we have some, or at least, yeah, we all have some wishes
Mm-hmm.
where we want to play. And one big wish would be to come to the US finally again, like after 7 years or something,
Mm-hmm.
and do a really nice US tour, either as headliner or as support, doesn't matter. This is like on our bucket list number
Mm-hmm.
one, basically. And this could be all like still connected to the whole Abyss thing, while maybe having some new stuff already out. But the Abyss is not going away, like this
Mm-hmm.
whole album is gonna be one of the 6 albums we released, and it's gonna stay here. It's here to stay. And so yeah, I was just talking about like what writing and creativity is coming after that. And yeah, so, and we're still gonna play some nice international festivals next summer. They're not all announced yet, but unfortunately not in the US, which I hate as well. Yeah, I wish, but maybe who knows? Like sometimes it goes faster than you think. Like it's one phone call and then you're
Mm-hmm.
on board of a big tour in the US and you're like, yeah, nice. But yeah, not yet, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
we're trying to.
Well, thank you for clarifying all that, because I definitely made it sound like, it's like you guys are just going to like be, stowed away in like your houses and in the recording studios in Germany, just creating something brand new and not coming out until something was done, but playing shows, playing festivals throughout Europe. That's something that people get to look forward to. Myself, though, we got to get people like the Danny Wimmer Presents people to take a look and see what they can do to get you guys over to some festivals here in the U.S. I mean, they've already announced the full lineup for Sonic Temple, which is in May, which means that the full lineup for Welcome to Rockville, which is also in May, will be out soon. So that's probably all solidified. Incarceration's always in July. That one might be close solidified. But then, hey, if you get on a 3-week tour, do Louder Than Life in Kentucky, which is more in the eastern part of the United States, do a tour around and end at Aftershock, which is in California, which is another festival that they run. I've seen plenty of bands do that, seen plenty of international bands do that. So maybe this is the year for 2026 for Annisokay to come back to the U.S. to some festivals. Might be later in the year, but hey, one can hope.
Yeah, we hope. Yeah,
Let,
basically what you're thinking.
Let's hope. Let's see if it happens. But Chris, I got one more question before we wrap this up. It is something I like to ask every single artist I bring on this podcast as a way for us to get to know more new music and for you to get to know more, and for us to get to know more new music and for you to get to support the music you love. We're going to limit it to 3, so we're not here all day. But can you name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into right now?
Oh, wow. That's always tricky, especially when you're not prepared for this.
This happens all the time, Chris. It's always fun for me to ask that question, but then the answers always are just as incredible. So
yeah,
I'm curious.
I mean, I'm a producer as well, so I work on some bands that sometimes nobody knows yet, and then they become bigger, and then yeah, it's nice to see them evolve and everything. And I have a lot of them, and I feel like if I pick just 3, all the others are gonna be pissed off that I don't mention them. So I'm gonna just randomly pick what comes up to my mind. And then there's obviously Future Palace, who just okay, you know them.
I've had Marie on the podcast twice. I love seeing them live.
Let's pretend I didn't say Future Palace then, because they're already maybe too much in the business. We have a band from Germany called Humankind. That's maybe some band that nobody of you heard of yet. They have an amazing vocalist, and I love their songs. Really great guys and girls, and it's a nice band to check out. Then there is Anchor, which is a band from Spain. Incredible. I mix their stuff, and it's always like when I get a new song from them, I'm like, oh my god, it's so cool. They have a really nice mix of EDM and metal, and they have a female drummer who's insane, and female vocalist as well. She's also screaming, and it's just really nice music. And yeah, I think that's a good call. And yeah, for the last one, I need to think. I could go like really. I can go really local now. There's one band. I mean, there's 2 bands. I'm gonna say 2 of them. One is called Leaf, and one is called Blacktooth, and they're like friends of mine since we started this band here in my hometown in Halle, Leipzig, in Germany, like many years ago. And they're still doing great music, and I love them. But they're not getting the recognition yet that they deserve. So it's Blacktooth and Leaf. So it's been a few more bands, but it's hard for me to pick just 3.
Hey, Chris, this isn't like network television where we're going to be super strict on it. People break the rules all the time. You gave me essentially 5 because you start out with Future Palace, and it's like, you know what, we'll go somewhere else, because clearly me going like this it was a good sign. That's like, okay, we can move to some other ones. Anchor has been brought up before by a couple artists, so that's one you should go check out. But out of the other ones you said, Blacktooth has actually been on this podcast twice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So when you said that, I kind of had my head tilt like, did he just say that?
They're coming to my studio tomorrow morning, so it's like I'm already kind of waiting for them. That's really funny.
Okay, that is really funny. But hey, we got more great music to share with people. We've got more Annisokay to share with people as well. So Chris, I want to thank you for taking the time for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. We'll close this episode out with 3 things. First thing is, when it comes to Annisokay, Abyss, the final chapter in its entirety is going to be out on November 21st. They're also going to be touring Europe, more like the countries, their home country, Germany, around there, for the rest of the year, and then UK in January. Be on the lookout because more and more shows are coming your way. Go to Script to the Podcast where it says Find Annisokay online, links and labels for everything. Where to stream all their music, where to stream Abyss, the final chapter in its entirety, where to go see and play live and follow along to make sure you're up to date on anything they announce. So I got you all covered. To Script to the Podcast, you're good to go. Now it's time for number 2. Chris, whenever a guest in the podcast, I enjoy the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say, thank you, I appreciate you taking the time, and I wish to continue to support the band in the future. And this is how I do it. I don't say if. If implies it might happen, might not happen. I don't know. If I say when implies it's going to happen, we just don't have a day or time yet. But when I get to see you perform live for the first time, I will come and find you. I'll come and say hello to you. But that's not the full promise. The actual promise is that first round's on me.
Nice. Okay. Looking forward to this. Yeah. Would love to do that.
Oh, me too. If all of a sudden if it was like a US tour where somehow it was like you, Future Palace, and Blacktooth all rolled into one, and maybe throw some other bands in there, like trying to think who else I've recently recorded with, like Arlize or like Villanova. I'm just throwing out names. Yeah, I'm gonna end up having to pay a lot of money that night, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, cool.
And now it's time for number 3. I cannot end this episode by saying goodbye. That is way too final. I made you a promise. I got to keep that promise. Plus, this album in its experience with both EPs combined together with the 3 new songs, I absolutely loved going through it the previous night, really diving deep into it. I want to continue to follow the band. I would love to continue to support you guys and bring you back on the podcast in the future. So goodbye is too final. This is, I'll see you later.
See you later, man. Thank you.
Well, folks, my interview with Chris from the band Annisokay, and now it's time for Kevin's final thoughts. So, when it comes to Abyss as an experience, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, well, it was EP part 1 from a couple of years ago, and then they did another EP this year, and then they put in 2 new songs or 3 new songs. Oh, this isn't a full thing. Well, here's the way that I looked at it. I think Chris and the guys are absolutely right in how they did this. They had songs they wanted to come out with. They had a great collection, but it just didn't make up a full album, and some of the songs just needed some work. Some of the songs just weren't fully there. So they took the idea of what part 1 could be, put the track list here to make it make sense on its own, and released it as an EP for everybody to get, and people were able to dive into it, really enjoy it. They did the same thing for the second half of the EP, second part EP, which came out in 2025, early 2025. So you got a chance to really get into it, really get to know it, and get to know that part of the entire story as well. But by adding 3 songs in the middle, it takes the experience of part 1 and part 2 and makes it completely unique and complete when you go through the album as an entire whole. Plus, let's be honest, these songs are good. Like, my least favorite song on the album, I would consider good. That's how insane this is. There are songs that you listen to, like from EP Part 1, Human, Ultraviolet, and Time. They stood out like crazy. I got to new one. Silent Anchor was a lot of an interesting retrospective in your mind, like we talked about. Splinters and My Effigy completely amped up the energy as well as we went through it. Then you get to the second EP. Never Enough is one of my favorite straightforward metalcore songs I've ever heard. You get to Oblivion, Into the Great, and Inner Sanctum to close it out. You get a completely different experience when you put the whole entire story together as a whole compared to what part 1 showed on its own and what part 2 showed its on. That unique connective experience, this is a joy to go through, and you're going to enjoy it as well. I want to thank Chris for coming to the podcast. And when it comes to Annisokay and Abyss, the final chapter, go to Script to the Podcast below. It says it says find Annisokay online links labels for everything are going to be there for you to stream the album, for you to listen to it, to get some merch, to go see them play live and support them, and stay in the know when they announce everything new. Please also follow along with us on the Chord Progression Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, links to the podcast below. Hit the subscribe button right down here if you're on YouTube to follow along with us and make sure you're always getting those new Chord Progression Podcast episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday. If you want to do the audio version, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, so hit like or follow or subscribe. Hit the like button on all the episodes as well to help push us in the algorithm as we're starting to grow a little bit more, which is kind of nice. So let's keep it going. Thank you, Chris. And that's good for you. Thank you very much for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin. And you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah.